everybody. Welcome back inside the video podcast room of the State Champs Sports Network studios on the campus of Lawrence Technological University in Southfield, Michigan. My name is Lorne Plant. The regular season is wrapping up. This is another edition of Michigan Extra Point Live. The splendid Scott Burnstein will be here in just a bit. He is en route. We actually both took in some OAA football this week. Scott of the crossover style between Rochester Adams and Rochester Hills Stony Creek. It's a bit of a hike between there and Southfield, so he will get here. And I had Southfield A&T trying to save their season as they took on River Rouge, and we will talk about both those games, among many others, on the show. She will tell you that she puts the Jen in Genuine, the real deal, Genna Skalski, at the table tonight. And this week is our Halloween show. And it airs on State Champs. We do it every week. We've been doing it for years, so make sure you check it out. It's always really fun. We spent several hours last night at
eternity.
Yes, at Rotten Manor in Holly, Michigan. And it was a really good time. We'll have lots of video to come over the next week. We had a GoPro on Genna that was basically just kind of focused on her face, so it was very Blair Witch style. And I'm sure we've got some amazing reactions because she was quite into it.
Yes,
you know?
I was scared when we did the tour before the actors were in there, so I have a lot of content for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. And there's one particular scene I cannot wait to see, and that was, and I know Kevin caught it on video, and that was when we were in this clown room and we were shooting one of our stand-ups, and one of the actors came up and spooked her something fierce because she literally flew like 4 feet back. Yeah. It was almost like she got blasted out. So anyway, just for a teaser, just a taste, and it would be really cool for you to support the people who run the place. We did an interview with the owners, and it's two brothers and a sister, and we put their video up already on Facebook, and we have it on our Twitter page and I think our YouTube channel. And it kind of has some B-roll of kind of what we experienced, and as well as talking about their reason for creating the place and how you can go check it out. We really want you guys to go support the places that we visit because they let us come in for free and they let us kind of just do whatever we want, and that's very cool. And they're still trying to run an establishment and they've got paying guests there and stuff. So believe me, if you like haunted houses, what's really awesome, it's two different attractions. So there's Rotten Manor, which is the haunted house. It's huge. It takes you like a half hour, 35 minutes to get through it, and there's so many different crazy rooms, and it's really intricate. And then there is the Rotten Forest, which is kind of, you go down these walking paths and then find yourself in these particular buildings. And they have a brand new attraction this year they call the Gingerbread House, which is the craftsmanship that went into building that thing is really great.
Oh, yeah. It was very realistic.
Yes, it was. And then there was, of course, the lady like the witch. It's kind of an Hansel and Gretel kind of style. And, of course, Genna went into the oven. So,
yes, I did.
Yeah, that's all that stuff to look forward to. That's it. All right. The MHSA's Media and Content Coordinator, Jeff Kimmerly, he's going to join us on the phone in just a bit. Selection Sunday. This Sunday, there will be lots of 5 and 4 teams getting in. We're going to talk to him in a bit. Matt Mowry and Chuck Pellerito were at our final Rivals Series matchup for the year. We decided on kind of early this week that we were going to cover the Ithaca at Shepherd matchup. So that's the game we went to. Matt's already written a couple of articles on it. You can read it right now at statechampsnetwork.com, but he will call in to tell us how that one turned out. Alan True has another recruit report and the latest Be the Referee segment, which talks about automatic first downs. That's also coming up. Quickly, just want to thank our sponsors, Lawrence Technological University. You can recruit yourself for one of the 24 sports offered here at LTU. Go to ltuathletics.com. Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor. I think that Big Play Slay was supposed to be at the Southfield game. I did not see him, but then again, everybody was kind of covered up in their big coats and hats and stuff, so he could have been there. But we always appreciate him coming out to support high school football and being the Mr. Football ambassador for Hungry Howie's. The Michigan High School Athletic Association is also a sponsor. Check out their banner link at our website that will take you directly to their score page. And subscribe to MHSAA.TV. I really encourage it just because they've got so many live football games there every week. And if you want to, watch playoffs of your favorite teams, you don't get an opportunity, and you want to see more than just highlights, you can go there. $6 a month. That's a value. And again, Jeff Kimmerly will be joining us later. All right. It's week 9. Time for the scores. And we're going to begin with teams ranked in our state champs top 25.
All righty. So number 1, Muskegon dominated Muskegon Reese Puffer 56-0, and it's the 5th shutout for Muskegon. Number 2, Belleville won against Plymouth for 41-14 in the KLAA championship. And number 3, Chippewa Valley beat Utica 35-20. Number 4, West Bloomfield won against Warren de La Salle 16-8. And number 5, Oak Park took on Oxford. They won 35-7. And Birmingham Groves lost to Brownstown Woodhaven 49-28, and this is the second time in school history Woodhaven goes undefeated. And number 7, Midland lost to Midland Dow 42-7. Number 8, Lake Orion won against Monroe 45-27. Number 10, Chelsea beat Ann Arbor Skyline 38-7. Number 11, Edwardsburg beat Paw Paw 44-14. Number 12, Walled Lake Western won against Walled Lake Central 42-7. Number 13, Dearborn Fordson. Oh, they beat Brighton. I'm from Brighton. But it's okay. They won 46-35.
Brighton's still in the playoffs, so.
All right, go black and orange.
Yeah.
And number 15, Lapeer, they won against Davison 24-21. Two overtimes?
2 overtimes. Wow, that's for the title there.
Blue title game. Number 16, Byron Center won against Holland 59-13. First time in school history that they are undefeated, Byron Center. Number 17, Saline, they won against Grand Blanc 45-27. Granville lost to Caledonia 56-35. And then number 19, Rockford beat East Kentwood 17-7. South Lyon won against South Lyon East 42-18, and Grosse Pointe South lost to Romeo 38-20. Number 24, Battle Creek Lakeview beat Battle Creek Harper Creek 21-0, and then number 25, River Rouge beat Southfield A&T 31-24.
Yes. So that is what we had going in our top 25. Some really interesting things, and I'm sure Scott will have all kinds of comments on them. Quickly for me, just for what I'm noticing here, Plymouth suffers their first loss. They lose to Belleville. That's no shame in that. Obviously, they've had an amazing season, so they don't win the KLAA title, but they also don't go undefeated. Belleville does remain undefeated, and beating a really good Plymouth team who had beat all comers 41-14 shows that Belleville is really rocking as they head into the Division I playoffs. So they are obviously going to have home field advantage throughout, so that's going to be very important for them. We'll see how far they go this year. Chippewa Valley just continues to roll. Warren de La Salle, so they lose to West Bloomfield, and they are now 5-4 on the year. They will get into the playoffs. I can almost predict that just because they've had so many playoff points, and that's the way that'll roll. But again, a close game, 6-8, not surprised. There were a couple other things that I did notice that were a surprise to me. Number 1 is that Caledonia, who I believe, I don't know if they were 5-4 or 4-5 or 4, and I know that they're now either 5-4 or they're 4-5 on the year because they couldn't have played 9 games already coming in. But to beat Granville, who we had again ranked 18, and put up 56 on them is a big win for those guys. So, and the game that I was out tonight, we're going to talk to River Rouge headman Corey Parker in just a little bit, and they beat Southfield. Southfield loses. They end their season, so they're 4-5. Really disappointing for the Warriors. I will give them credit. They had a valiant comeback in the second half. They were trailing by a couple of scores, but River Rouge, always found a way to fight back, to bounce back. And River Rouge going into the playoffs now with back-to-back Division I wins, and that was over Detroit Catholic Central and now Southfield A&T. So very, very good on their part. And what we're going to do is we're going to move the show along right now, and we'll talk to Scott when he gets back. But we'll go ahead and take a break because, again, we've got several call-ins. We're going to be talking to Corey Parker, Jeff Kimmerly, and we're going to talk to, of course, Matt Mowry coming up. So we still got a lot to get to, but let's take our first time out. But right now, here's this week's Be the Referee.
Welcome to Be the Referee with veteran MHSAA official Sam Davis.
Today we're going to talk about one of the biggest rule difference areas in high school football from those rules used in college and pro games, and that deals with the automatic first down. When watching the college game on Saturday or the pro game on Sunday, all of us know there are several defensive fouls that give the offense an automatic first down. However, under high school rules, the opposite is true most of the time. The only high school fouls that result in an automatic first down for the offense are the roughing fouls. Roughing the passer, the kicker, the holder, and the long snapper. Fouls such as defensive pass interference or any other personal fouls do not bring an automatic first down under high school rules.
Thanks, Sam. You can be a referee. Go online now to MHSAA.com to register. Be the Referee is a production of the MHSAA Network.
I admit it, I love working with money, negotiating, and making big decisions. That's why I'm majoring in finance and economics at Lorne Tech. What's truly amazing about the education here is the small class sizes that give me easy access to my professors who truly care about my future. They even helped me get a great internship. And I was able to fulfill my lifelong dream of playing college golf. Lorne Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
The greatest honor a high school senior student athlete can earn? Detroit Athletic Club's Athlete of the Year. You're one of the tops in your sport. Prioritize education and giving back, like Cassius Winston, Megan Bobian, Rakia Jackson, and Aiden Hutchinson did. 6 male, 6 female nominees earn $1,000 in scholarship money, with $5,000 each to be awarded at a red carpet gala in downtown Detroit. Nominations accepted now. Download the application, DACAthleteoftheyear.com.
Hungry Howie's wants to thank you. Yes, you, how long can I stay on this couch guy? Super Dad, who prevented birthday disaster. And the late night study group that ordered 17 pizzas. Thank you to the Holy Moly Did You See That fans. And thank you, Whole Slice and One Bite Kid. Because for every pizza sold in October, we make a donation to the National Breast Cancer Foundation. And together we've raised nearly $3 million just by doing what you love. Hungry? Howie's.
This is Alan True from 24/7 Sports with this week's State Champs Recruit Report brought to you by My Student Aid. And we talked a little bit in last week's Recruit Report about how Southfield A&T wide receiver Christian Fitzpatrick may make a decision to commit to Louisville, and that ended up happening over the weekend as Fitzpatrick took an official visit with the Cardinals and then announced his commitment shortly after. He now joins his brother Desmond Fitzpatrick, a star wide receiver on the team for at least one season at Louisville. A one-time Washington State commit, Fitzpatrick cited the opportunity to play with his brother, but also the progress the team has shown under new head coach Scott Satterfield as reasons he made the change. Another state of Michigan player made his decision this week. That is Birmingham Groves' Ralph Donaldson, who visited Ball State, earned an offer from the Cardinals, and quickly made a decision to commit to them. Donaldson joins a long line of Michigan players to head down to Muncie, including Willie Snead, Nolan Given, Corey LaCanaria, and others. A very fast track athlete, Donaldson could play linebacker, strong safety, some combination of the two, and has also had an outstanding senior season as a running back. Over in Happy Valley, former Orchard Lake St. Mary's wide receiver KJ Hamler put on an outstanding performance that made him the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. And there were some recruits from Michigan in the house at Happy Valley in order to see that performance. One of them was Oak Park safety Jalen Mines, who walked away with a scholarship offer from the Nittany Lions. He now says they're one of his top schools, and they obviously have a commitment from his senior defensive back mate, Enzo Jennings. Jalen will check out Purdue this week. The Boilers also have a commitment from one of his teammates in Malik Carr. He's still open in his process and now has 11 scholarship offers, but Penn State has made an impression. For this week's State Champs Recruit Report, I'm Alan True.
The Recruit Report is brought to you by My Student Aid, Michigan's go-to resource for student financial aid. Go to michigan.gov/MIStudentAid for more information.
Hey guys, welcome back to Michigan Extra Point Live. Look who has joined us here inside the video podcast room. It's Scott Burnstein. I was telling everybody it's a little bit of a hike from Rochester Hills.
Yeah, coming from northern Oakland County down here to southern Oakland County. I had to, get on my jets.
Give us a brief recap of the game you were at.
I went to a really good game, crosstown rivalry between Rochester Adams and Stony Creek. Rochester Adams would have been, not a heavy favorite, but a considerable favorite. Stony Creek played tough with them, was up 14-7 at the half. Adams got all three of their touchdowns in a 21-14 victory from the coach's son, Anthony Petrito, who is an electric playmaker, 28 touchdowns over the last 2 years, has only been a starter since his junior year, has no scholarship offers yet.
Plays both ways.
He's like the quintessential slot back. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can stretch the field on fly routes and going across the middle. And then he's dangerous on that veer attack, getting that jet sweep. And
he's a tough kid. Because he's like play safety, and he'll be a guy who comes up, wants to play. He is skinny. Yeah. I mean, he's like, you know what I mean?
He doesn't look like much, but when you see him play, he pops.
He does.
He's got
I give him credit.
He's got an extra gear in him.
Yeah.
You kind of don't expect him to be that fast, and
right.
he speeds by defenders, and he's got a lot of hustle with that muscle,
right.
and a lot of great juke moves in the open field.
Yep.
And one thing that was Coach Petrito, talking about his son, said he just has that kind of uncanny knack to make big plays at the biggest moments in the game. Game was tied in the final 4 minutes of the game with about 3:10 left on the clock. Petrito caught a young man, Anthony Petrito, caught a 56-yard touchdown pass from Carter Ferris, proved to be the game winner.
Yeah.
Adams ends the season at 8-2. There'll be a tough out in the playoffs. Stony Creek, this was a team under Nick Merlo, a second year under Merlo. They got a really under the radar mini superstar in Zach Denna, their running back. I think he's approaching 20 touchdowns for the year. He's a guy that has kept them in games against competition that they have no business being in games with.
Absolutely.
So they're 5-4 right now. They needed this win for the automatic qualifier, but let's see if those playoff points work out and they can sneak in at 5-4. Stony Creek hasn't made the playoffs in 6 seasons.
Okay, well, that is a great segue because who we have on the line right now is a representative of the MHSAA, and if you read any of the second half website, then you probably see a lot of his work, and maybe you see him out in the games. His name is Jeff Kimmerly. He is the MHSAA Media and Content Coordinator.
He's been busy this fall.
Yes, no doubt about it, and he joins us now. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing tonight?
We are doing great. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes because, I know at the MHSAA headquarters, this is when it really gets crazy because Selection Sunday is in 2 days.
Yeah, it really is. It's the culmination of about 5.5, 6 months of work for us, to be honest, because we start getting scheduled when things gathered in April, and tonight we're gathering scores like crazy, and tomorrow I think we have 14 more games to go, and Sunday we'll be in the office early, and hopefully by about noon we'll have everything figured out and ready to go for Selection Sunday to come out 7 o'clock. So it's a busy weekend, but it's a lot of fun too.
Yeah, this is one of those unique years, I think, and we've been seeing this kind of trend where there are just not a lot of automatic qualifiers. Throughout. We just haven't seen a whole ton of 6-win teams, which means that there are going to be teams 5-4 who are getting into the playoffs at, it seems to me like a record level, but I know that you can tell me if this is following the trend that it's been going with how many 5-4 teams will get in. And the unique thing is then because of all these 5-4 teams, that's when we start seeing teams dropping down a division or playing up, just depending on how many are qualifying, correct?
Yeah, so, I mean, you're right on the right track there. We had our record for additional qualifiers, the 5 and 4 teams, 4 and 4 teams last year with 43, and I think we're going to blow that away this weekend. I had guessed 198 automatic qualifiers, looking at who had a chance this weekend and kind of just forecasting who I thought would win, and we're at 198 right now. So with the chance of, I think, 4 or 5 more tomorrow that can get in with a win. So regardless, we're gonna break that 43 record, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think that means that a lot of people played each other, and to be honest, there are a lot of really good 5 and 4 teams out there. And you know what? There were some crazy upsets this week by teams that finished 3 and 6 over teams that were supposed to win leagues. So
I like. Sorry, Jeff.
Anything can happen. Oh no, it's just it's kind of nutty that way, but it's also more fun, I think.
I mean, there's a big part of me that really likes the new format, just in the sense that we're rewarding teams that want to play a tougher schedule. We're rewarding teams. We're saying that maybe at 5 and 4, you're just as good as a 6 and 3 or 7 and 2 team. On the other side of it, and I'd be remiss if I didn't bring it up, the elephant in the room. There was a mini controversy in the last couple of days. The Free Press has done a bit of an expose on it. And I think it's a kind of he said. So we don't know for sure. Harper Woods, Chandler Parker saying they didn't have a game scheduled. The Catholic League is saying we scheduled it. Either way, they state kind of stand pat for week 9, knowing that they were automatically in with with a 4 and 3 record or a 4 and 4 record.
Well, so they're not automatically in. That's the thing about where this whole thing sits. Cranbrook with a win would have been in automatically at 6-3.
Yes.
Cranbrook with no game is in at 5-3 because they only played 8 games and won 5. Chandler Park at 4 and 5, if they were to have lost to Cranbrook would have not been able to get in.
Yep.
At 4 and 4, they have a chance as an additional qualifier, but I don't think it's by any means guaranteed. So I guess it's an interesting situation. Obviously, it's one. Next year, hopefully things like that just don't happen. You're right. Teams will get more points for a good loss. I think one of the things that'll be interesting is seeing what, I guess, the reaction is when there's no more automatic qualifiers in terms of win total. That was one of the things the Coaches Association, when they put this proposal out there, said that we really can't have a automatic qualifier by wins because that will throw off this entire thing. And their goal was to make scheduling easier for a lot of these good teams that have a hard time finding games. So I think that might be something we miss a little bit, to be honest. I think there's a lot of good news that happens when teams say that 6 wins or whatever. But at the same time, we're excited to see, after 20 years of this current system, how the next one hopefully will get a lot more of these week 9 games like Clarkston, Cass Tech. Granted, Clarkston didn't have the same kind of year this year, but the fact that you have 2 great programs getting together for a season finale game, who doesn't love that?
Yeah,
I'm excited to see how that works.
Yeah, for sure. I was at River Rouge Southfield tonight, which is a Division 3, Division 1 game, and Southfield was playing for their proverbial lives, but playing for River Rouge, who generally plays in a league that we can all say it, they're the class of the league.
You're not going to be tested as much in that league schedule unless you're someone like Corey and you're trying to go out there and schedule a tough competition than non-league.
And he really is. So we had Grand Rapids Catholic Central in week 1, which they lost, but a good game, good program. They came down and played River Rouge at their place, and then they ended the season with Detroit Catholic Central and Southfield.
As a player, I know I'm going back, I'm dating myself 20 plus years, but as a player, I'd rather play in a big game atmosphere against a team that I have a chance to possibly lose to than just, Cupcake City. And I think most kids feel like that. At a certain point, you can only pad your stats, through so many possessions.
Yeah, you want to play tough teams going into the playoffs because it's one and done from here on out. So we have Jeff.
Go
ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was just going to say the game I watched tonight. I watched a lot of Franklin with New Lothrop because we had that on our network. These are 2 8-0 teams. And obviously they scheduled this far before they were 8-0, but they, what they had already locked up their league titles and everything else. I totally agree with you. What better game to play going into the playoffs than somebody else who has a great chance to be at Ford Field. There's no better way to prepare. So
being battle tested is so important. Sorry, Jeff. Keep
go
on
ahead.
interrupting you.
No. He said being battle
Being
tested.
battle tested is
It's
so
very
important for a
Yeah,
playoff run. I've seen it in football. I've seen it in other sports where a team comes in with a gaudy record, but I've seen them during the regular season, and I've seen they haven't been tested before, and then they get that first test in districts or in regionals, and it shakes them because they haven't seen that type of competition all year. So, and a lot of times, whether it be basketball, sometimes I'd rather be 14-6 than 19-1. In football, sometimes I'd rather be 7-2 than 9-0, or 6-3 than.
Look, Catholic Central tomorrow can get to 5-4. Generally, a 5-4 team from the Catholic League Central will get in. They already beat Orchard Lake St. Mary's a couple weeks ago. They play them again tomorrow. If they get in at 5-4, having played Orchard Lake St. Mary's twice, Brother Rice, played King, they're as tested as anybody in that 5-4 that we start over again. So it's I agree with you 100%.
Out of that Catholic Central, I think there's been 2 teams in the last decade that either came in at 5-4 or 4-4.
Brother Rice and Orchard Lake St. Mary's one year came in at 4-4 and won a title.
And Rice came in at 5-4
yes,
and
won
won a state title. Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, I wanted to ask you before we let you go, how did you get into this crazy business?
This crazy business?
Yes, high school sports.
I started at the State Journal 20 years ago, actually maybe 21 years ago, when I was a senior at Michigan State as a part-timer, and then I came back right out of college and became their prep editor. Just thankfully fell into that job, and I had always wanted to do the college thing more.
Yeah.
But I quickly really just kind of fell in love with the whole high school atmosphere and what these games mean to their communities, and how there's just so many good stories. There's more good stories at the high school level than there is at any level of athletics. And these are people that want to talk to the media and things like that. And I had played high school sports. That meant a lot to me. And so I stayed at the State Journal for 12 years. I came over to the MHSAA about 8 years ago because I figured, there are kind of like what you guys are doing at State Champs. There are a lot less media covering high schools. You guys are filling in and bringing that coverage back for people. We're trying to do that with second half as well. And, we just want to keep telling these great stories and helping to have a great impact on these students as they're growing up and learning from all these opportunities. And, in nights like this is when it's the most fun for all of us.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Again, I love the work you do at Second Half and the other contributors. I know Tom Marskowski, still does some stuff for you guys. Yep. And of course, we love Tom. And I'll
be honest with you, I love it.
Yeah.
But I just discovered it. I've been in this business for 11, 12 years.
Right.
In the last 5 years, I probably discovered the Second Half. Up until like 2000, let's say, when did you guys start Second Half? Has it always been there?
We started about 7.5
Okay, so maybe I was just a year or two late, but I remember coming across it and be like, this is really good content.
Yeah. No, it is, and it's great for us because we're writing highlights for, for instance, we have right now that we just uploaded our complete boys tennis state finals show, and we have up our girls golf show that's going right now. And it's hard for a lot of us who can't be, we have our camera guys at the events, but you guys kind of help fill in with some of the interesting storylines that we could add to the highlights.
And for reporters, when it comes to state finals, you go to the second half, they got great information for you and
previews,
stats,
everything.
And, stuff that's just the reporter's best friend.
For us is, and the thing about it for us is you guys actually having cameras there, and I told Jonathan Kipp earlier today, or maybe it was yesterday, the fact that you guys are there getting this stuff where no one else, you guys know, the media isn't able to cover preps as much as they used to, and they still mean as much to people as they ever did. So the fact that you guys have cameras there, the fact that this is like the second or third year we've done a lot of work with you guys.
Yeah,
it's been
for sure.
A lot of fun for us.
Yeah.
And there's no reason, it's awesome to be able to go ahead and kind of cross promote and tell people all these great things. And, we try and get your stuff out there, and you guys do an awesome job of talking about some of the things we're trying to do. And I don't know, we're just really happy. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, we appreciate that, Jeff, and we appreciate you guys. And you're right. I mean, we're kind of the last bastions here in Michigan that are
last vestiges of
right.
old school
Yes,
journalism,
carrying the torch for high school sports. It is really a shame for the lack of coverage that we see now. I mean, we've been doing state champs since 2002, and gosh, I remember some of the playoffs and state finals that we would go to, and even just big games, and literally it was just littered with media. And now you'd be lucky to find 2 or 3.
And the gyms and the stadiums were more full, and there was more of a buzz, and there was less
and there are
platforms and social media distraction.
Go ahead.
Sure. I was just going to say there's still a lot of places that do an awesome job, especially the more north you go.
Yes.
It's the one show in town, and hey, I get it. I was in the media. I understand. There's a ton to do when you also have pro teams to cover and college teams to cover, and your resources just continue to, they decrease more and more.
Get depleted.
Hey, I'm glad that you guys, and I'm glad that we can help step in and fill some of these things in, and really, we try and do as much promoting of the other media too, and letting people know what they're doing, because we're all kind of in this thing together, and we all want to tell the great stories, and so I think we're trying to do that.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Hey, Jeff, when, for the people who are listening and watching right now, the selection show, when does that start? I know it's on Fox Sports Detroit Sunday night. Just give us the quick promo there.
Sure. And the key is it's on Fox Sports Detroit Plus.
Okay, Plus.
So make sure you're going to the Plus network. It's at 7 o'clock. You can also watch it on foxsportsdetroit.com. If you have the Fox Go app, you can watch it on there. And it'll be available on demand, I'm sure, after that. But 7 o'clock is when you want to see that. All the pairings will be up at 8 p.m. on MHSA.com, and we'll be on our way.
Oh, yeah. I know the site crashes oftentimes at like 8 o'clock because everybody's trying to...
We've tried to avoid that, so hopefully we got
Okay. I hope I didn't jinx you, So, Jeff Kimmerly, the MHSA Media and Content Corner, thank you for calling in. Let's do it again during the playoffs.
Absolutely. Have a good night, guys.
All right, you got
Thanks,
it.
Jeff.
We'll see you later. That is Jeff Kimmerly. Really appreciate him calling. Okay, real quick, here's what we're going to do. I know that we're running a little long tonight, but hey, we're right before the playoffs. So we're going to get to our other key games right now. So Jenna's going to read some more scores, and then we are going to take another break. We'll come back. We've got River Rouge head coach Corey Parker, hopefully on tap here real soon, and then Matt Mowerty to talk about the Ithaca Shepherd game. So we still got some more show. Hang in there, Jenna. Fill us in.
All right, so Detroit Tenby and Detroit King. Detroit King is up right now. We don't have the final.
I'm sure the game is over by now. It's 11 o'clock at night, so I do not have a final on that. I believe that Detroit King. Yeah, Scott will work on that. But go ahead.
And that is the PSL Championship.
Right.
Cass Tech beat Clarkston 49-14. St. Joseph fell to Portage Northern 27-21. Our small school number 20 Ithaca beat Shepherd 29-12. This is also our state champs rival game. Our small school number 5 New Lathrop beat Frankenmuth 42-22. Pewamo Westphalia took on Williamston. They won 41-0. Portland lost to Montague 18-14. Menominee beat Hopkins 48-38. Kingsford lost to Marquette 31-7. First outright GNC title since the 70s. Muskegon Oak Ridge beat Traverse City St. Francis 25-20. Temperance Bedford lost to Coldwater 28-14. Harbor Beach beat Elkton Pigeon Bay Laker 21-6. Jonesville fell to Grass Lake 26-24. Houghton lost to Hancock 28-6. That is in the Copper Bowl. Lanesburg lost to Hemlock 36-14. Ishpeming Westwood beat Nagani. Thank you. They won 42-14. Beale City won against Morley Stanwood 21-14. Richmond beat Ortonville.
Brandon. Yeah, that was a misprint.
That
was a misprint.
I could have been a contender. Marlon Brando.
Richmond won that 30-20. Hudsonville Unity Christian beat Zeeland East 55-28. And we have our 8-player football. Martin lost to Climax Scots they won 26-24. Sutton's Bay beat Messick 27-18, and then finally Deckerville beat Peck 48-0.
And then I'll fill in everybody on what happened in the PSL.
Okay.
Detroit King beats Detroit Denby 27-6. It's their 10th PSL championship since the year 2000. They've played in 16 of the 19 PSL championship games. So you think of the PSL over the last 15, 20 years. A lot of times you'll say Cass, but King has made a pretty big imprint themselves in what's been going on in football in the city.
And interestingly, it looks like if the prognostications, and again, the 5 and 4s are going to throw things around, it looks like they're going to be in Division 2 this year. Yeah. So last year, you remember, it was Division 3. It was King and Muskegon.
That clash of the Titans.
That's right. So King will have, and I would say
and then
overall,
and that was an upset. I mean, everyone was expecting Muskegon to come in there and.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I would say they're going to go in most likely the favorite to win Division II, and we'll see how things play out.
Freshman quarterback DJ Moore, has been as advertised. He's got a very nice freshman wide receiver in Kenny Merriweather. Obviously, you got Penny Boone in the carrying the ball, the Maryland commit, and a lot of really nice talent on defense. Rashawn Williams catching the ball.
Yep.
But on defense, you got guys like Jalen Reed and Deontay Buford up front on the line.
Okay, good. We're going to take another timeout, but quickly, this from the MHSAA.
Did you hear the news? Studies of high school football players who played 50 to 60 years ago did not, I repeat, not show an increased risk of neurological disorders compared to their non-playing classmates. And the game now is a lot safer than it was then. High school sports, including football, have never been safer, and sports participation is a good part of a young person's overall education. Learn more at the health and safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Okay, guys, we'll be right back, and as you get a nice little close-up look at the back of Jenna's laptop with a bunch of interesting characters.
You do know you want a contest to spend the whole day with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just want to sit here and eat this delicious pizza?
We could do other things.
A little help?
That was the best day ever! Some people will do anything for flavor. Now get a meal deal to fit any budget at the home of flavored crust.
Hungry? Howie's! The greatest honor a high school senior student athlete can earn, Detroit Athletic Club's Athlete of the Year. You're one of the tops in your sport. Prioritize education and giving back, like Cassius Winston, Megan Bobian, Rakia Jackson, and Aiden Hutchinson did. 6 male, 6 female nominees earn $1,000 in scholarship money, with $5,000 each to be awarded at a red carpet gala in downtown Detroit. Nominations accepted now. Download the application, DACAthleteoftheyear.com.
I chose Lawrence Tech for the architecture program and volleyball team. Architecture is a great fit for me because I love math and design. Now I combine them with technology to create beautiful structures. At Lawrence Tech, I didn't have to wait until my 3rd year to start designing. Our hands-on education begins right from day one. And I'm really excited about LTU's Design Center in Detroit. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
Hey guys, welcome back inside the video podcast room in the State Champs Sports Network studios on the campus of Lawrence Technological University. My name is Lorne Plant. We've got Scott Burnstein and Genna Skalski here, and on the phone now joining us is the head man for River Rouge, Corey Parker. Corey, how you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Well, we're doing great. We're doing great. So I had the opportunity to shoot your game tonight, a big win, 31-24 over Southfield A&T. You came into their house, and you guys got yourself a win. And I know I talked to you a little bit after the game, but we can talk about, the way the season has progressed for you guys this year. And, again, playing a couple of really tough teams at the end of the season to get you ready for the playoffs. Talk about first the game tonight. You guys had a pretty good lead. You were having a successful play from your quarterback, Rabowski, as well as Bully, the running back, who also scored a couple of touchdowns. But Southfield played their way back in it in the second half, got it within 7 points. Talk about just kind of the way the game ebbed and flowed tonight and how you felt your guys performed.
I thought, going into the playoffs, you can't ask for a better situation. You got to work the timing of the game, timeouts, crucial times where you just need first downs, and you got to break away for touchdowns too. And in defense, you got to find a way to make crucial tackles and crucial plays. And so I thought the game put us in a situation where there's nothing you can simulate at practice. It's just a great opportunity for us to get some repetition at a high pressure, intense environment. And for us, it was, hey, we got to find a way to stop them from surging back. I mean, these guys are trying to fight to make sure that they got an opportunity to play football next week. So we knew we were going to get their best in the second half, and so they made some adjustments on what we were doing defensively for them. They were able to move the ball a little bit better. And so we had to, play a little chess and make another adjustment to make some stops. We got the penalty in the process for celebrating post-play, and we got to clean that up. I mean, our kids play with so much excitement, but so many of them are just juniors and sophomores running around and everything. They're having fun. I graduated 8 guys on my defense last year, and, not knowing, what I was getting to get from them, I just told them, hey, just play with some intensity and pride, and everything else will work itself out. And that's what they've been doing. So I'm happy with the way that they finished the game, but it took a senior, Deshaun Walker, to catch the interception.
That's right.
Against a screen pass to finish the game up. That was clutch.
Yeah, it was. It was
you got
just
some,
a little bit of time left.
You got some real kind of undervalued, underrated playmakers. Last year you had a little more maybe high-profile talent, but, Corey, is there a more appropriately named running back in the state of Michigan than DeAndre Bully? I mean, he is a brute. We have a lot of great power backs in Michigan right now, guys that, just love to go up in between the tackles and mix it up in the trenches. And DeAndre is kind of the epitome of that. Can you kind of talk about his style of running and how it's benefited you guys?
It's like Jerome Bettis.
Yeah, like a battering ram.
So Bully is that intriguing body type that he can carry 245 pounds, but he moves like somebody that's 205 pounds. His feet are just so great that he sees, and his eyes are great too, so he sees things that are happening on the field. He's able to cut on a dime, jump, cut, get vertical, make a guy miss, run over another guy, and still run away from people. So it's special to see how he's developed over the 3 years. He's been with us for all 4 years now, and he's just continuously gotten better. He played youth league football as a 9th grader, and he was a quarterback. This kid was a quarterback.
Wow.
And we moved him to running back because, all of the college coaches say, hey, this guy's a running back. He's heavy, and he's not going to have the most beautiful recruiting process. But at the end of the day, he's going to have a chance to play Division I football because he has an intriguing skill of size and speed and power. So he did some great things tonight. His offensive line was able to open up some holes for him and give him an opportunity to make some plays. But he's an even better blocker. So we love what he brings to the table. He's such a humble guy in the way he goes about his business. He's really waited his turn. He waited behind Alexander Carter as a 10th grader, and then he waited behind Khalid Jenkins as an 11th grader, and now it's his show. And so that's the type of program we ran, so we're happy to see how he has handled that process and not a pressure behind being the number one guy.
Is he committed to Akron?
He's committed to Akron right now. There's a lot of schools that's trying to pull him off of this thing, so it's going to get very exciting getting closer to December around National Signing Day. There's a lot of people that have been intrigued with him and didn't know whether they wanted a speed back this year or a power back. And with the way he's running away from people, I think he may give some university the best opportunity just to be successful in the run game, whether it's speed or power, because he has a little bit of both.
And Deshaun Walker, the linebacker that you referenced that clinched the game for you guys, he's going to Toledo, right?
Correct.
Is that correct?
He's committed to Toledo. Yep, a similar situation. He had the body type of a safety. You know, he's been starting for us since he's a 10th grader, and he's only about 200 pounds. So a lot of coaches were, we don't know if he's an inside linebacker or outside linebacker or safety. But hey, guess what? He can run and check someone. He can also run and get sack quarterbacks. But at the same time, he does a great job at tackling in space. So who knows what he's going to become? But now he's 225 pounds. So I'm sure there's a lot of other coaches that are still, chomping at the bit. But my guys have so much loyalty to us, the schools that offer them scholarships. That we're not logo chasers at River Rouge. We're not looking for this big name deal that's going to come after us. Because, that transfer portal is big for a reason. Kids that jump into water is a little bit too deep and come to find out they're not happy, and they could have went to a MAC school and had a great experience. I play MAC football, and I think it's a great conference, and I'm proud of it, and I'm proud to have some guys that are committed to MAC schools.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach.
I think one of the lessons that I always try to tell youngsters, you don't always have to go with the prettiest girl to the dance. I mean, sometimes the prettiest girl isn't the right person you should be taking to the dance, because you're just going to be disappointed.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach,
I agree.
Pronounce your quarterback's first name.
Marion.
Okay, so Marion Rabowski. I wanted to make sure because we knew there was a basketball connection.
His dad's Kevin, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Former Boston College basketball player.
Yes, exactly. So, again, he had, he's just a junior. Really, I know, has had a solid season trying to lead this team. It was really interesting for me seeing him in week 1 and really trying to get a lay of the land. And then, tonight he had a really critical, 39-yard touchdown run that had put you up 17-3, and then came back with another 20-yard run.
He looks the part.
Yeah.
He looks the part.
Talk about the way he's matured over the season and the confidence you have for him to lead you now into the playoffs.
I mean, the kid is physical, but he's physical in the run game. But he throws the ball well deep down the field. He reminds me a lot of the style of play as a JT Barrett. A great solid runner, almost gives you some tailback skill, but also is able to put the ball down the field in our deep passing concepts and give our guys chances to make plays underneath the ball, or the comeback route that Xavier Smith was just special on tonight. So I think Marion has grown up so much. I mean, the kid played JV football last year.
Right.
And this kid is running around and just trying his hardest right now to lead a team that trusts him. And so he's got a great offensive line in front of him, and they give him some lanes to run in and some time to throw the ball. So I think his development is continuously coming along. I mean, I got one of my old players, from UD Jesuit, from Inkster, Devin Gardner. He's around now. He's checking out Marion's skill set and really just trying to identify how he can help them develop maybe in the off season and spend a little time with each other. So that's exciting because, I mean, who has the opportunity to get a little bit of tutelage from a guy that played, quarterback at the University of Michigan?
Yeah, he was there. We saw him tonight.
Yeah, he was there tonight. And
yeah.
Our offensive staff has did such a fantastic job at just keeping things simple for him. So I really love what those guys have did. So it's not as many reads and things that Emmanuel Ferguson had to do. But, but I think he's going to continuously grow with Devin, work with him, and with Larry Johnson, our offensive coordinator and quarterback coach, work with him. So I think having those dual guys working with him is going to really give him the chance to be special for us next year.
Fantastic. Hey, Coach, just finally before we let you go, we know just looking at kind of the mapatology and kind of figure things out where everyone is going to end up, it looks like King is probably going to end up in Division II. I know there's going to be so many 5 and 4s, so they might not be in 3, which I know you had to play them right off the bat last year because they were in your district. But just looking ahead, you guys, I mean, if things play out the way they play out, now you got to play all the games, but, it's certainly not going to be a picnic. Even if you get out of your district, the region is going to be difficult for you. So what are you telling the guys now, and where are you going to be Sunday night? You guys all going to be together?
Yeah. So usually we have a big party at the school, pizza and chicken and cupcakes. The cheerleaders brings brownies and baked goods, and so we're going to have a big party here down here in River Rouge at the RNA Hall, and we're going to celebrate, as soon as they announce our name and really just rejoice and really be, in the moment and just enjoy being around each other and spending some quality time. And so when you're looking at our bracket, possibly looking at, all the great things that News does, for us, we don't know who we're going to play. And we just got to be the best version of us. And if we can do that, and when we do that, obviously like, for instance, some of the things that we did well tonight, some of the things we did versus CC, and even some of the things that we did well versus Harperwood and GRCC, we give teams some issues if we play our best ball. So we got to just take it one day at a time, practice, focus on what the teams are doing schematically, make sure we put our guys in the best situation to be successful, and let the kids play football instead of trying to, be rocket scientists about it and make it difficult for them. So we're excited, and we'll see what happens. But we'll know more on Sunday and see, whether we'll have a downriver bracket or a Detroit bracket. And we just got to prepare and give it our best, because those teams got players and coaches too, and they'll be ready to go as well.
All right, I'm predicting you versus Orchard Lake St. Mary's in the state semifinals to play Muskegon in the finals. That's the way I'm calling it. We'll see how it works out. But, Coach, thank you so much. Highlights will be on this Sunday of your victory over Southfield tonight. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for your time, and good luck this week, you guys. All right. And I hope to talk to you soon.
All right. Coach. Thank you very much. We'll see you later. That was River Rouge headman Corey Parker. So, and we didn't originally plan to have him on the show tonight. He just popped me after the game, was like, hey, man, I'd like to call in tonight. And I was like, absolutely. You coaches want to call in, man, we're here for you. So, good win for them. And again, they'll be they should be in a favorable bracket in Division III on their side.
Let me just make one note about that win bouncing Southwood A&T out of the playoffs. So, to start the season, 3 of my top 5 teams in Oakland County will not be qualifying for the postseason well, I shouldn't say that. 2 of the 3 will not for sure, in Southwood A&T and Clarkston, and Catholic Central may not.
Wow.
So if you would have told me that before the season that there's a chance that all 3 of those teams would not be even in the playoffs, let alone making a run towards Ford Field, I would have laughed at you.
Well, we had a rivals game tonight, and we kind of actually chose this matchup kind of like early in the week, and I'm glad that we did, because we don't get an opportunity to feature these teams too often, but we will have a full detailed highlight package of the Ithaca win over Shepherd tonight. We've got Ithaca ranked in our small schools rankings, ranked number 20. They were 7-1 going into this game. They beat Shepherd 29-12. Shepherd needed this win to get to 5-4, so they had an opportunity to see if they could get in the playoffs, but it looks like that did not happen. Matt Mowry was there in person, and he joins us now on the phone. How you doing, Matt?
Not bad. And just to correct that, Shepherd is now 5-4, so they would have gotten in automatically had they won tonight.
Oh, so they
still have a marginal chance on playoff points, but they don't have an incredibly high total of playoff points, so the probability is not there. They really kind of needed to get that automatic 6 win, but they do still have a chance. But you're right.
So they were 4-4 coming into this one.
No, they were
I'm
5-3
sorry.
coming in.
They were 5-3 coming in. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep.
So they are 5-4 now. Got it. Okay. I looked at it wrong.
Really, like you said, though, this was their playoff game. They kind of they were aiming at this game as kind of their way to get in, and you could tell just by the looks on the kids' faces and how long those Shepherd kids were on the field after. I mean, realistically, it was. For most of the game, it was closer than the final score indicated. It was 7-6, Ithaca at the half. Both teams scored within the first minute or so of the first half of the second half, and then Ithaca took advantage of a couple of short fields in the third quarter to kind of expand that lead. And really, that was all the scoring in the game. And it was, just talking to the 2 coaches, both of them played in this rivalry as, high schoolers back in the day. I think Terry Hesbrook from Ithaca graduated in '84, and Ben Brock from Shepherd in '96. So both of them remember what this rivalry used to be. It's gone away from that over the last 10 years or so, when Shepherd's been kind of in a trough as far as talent and success. But both of them said this felt more like the old days, when this was really, these were the two teams in the CSAA that would decide on the field the champion of the CSAA in this game. The road really went through the Shepherd Ithaca game for the better part of a decade, and it was one where they kind of determined the success of their season based on this game. And so to see those Shepherd kids, to see how much it meant to them, and they were crying on the field for a good portion of the time after the game. And I said to the coach, Ben Brock, I said, that's almost a good thing, isn't it? Because this is a Shepherd program that since 2010 has won more than 2 games twice. This is a program that back in the 80s and 90s and even into the early 2000s was regularly winning 10 games a season. And to have them be winning, averaging 2 wins over a 14-year span is just incredible. And so he kind of said, yeah, in the long run, the fact that this game meant so much to them is probably a good thing, because over the last 14 years, there was kind of a callus built up, and losses didn't really mean that much. There were so many of them, people got over them pretty fast. And the fact that this will stick with those Shepherd kids for a while, in terms of the growth of the program, to get it back to where it was, is probably a good thing.
Yeah, you're right. And I think the reason I said that before is because looking at the bracketology, even at 5-4, it doesn't have Shepherd getting in.
Yeah, no.
So
right.
those kids are crying because they kind of knew that, man, they left it out there and they didn't want to leave it to chance.
Absolutely.
But, it is what it is. So talk about the atmosphere tonight. We haven't had a chance to take in Ithaca much this season. What kind of an Ithaca team do we have? We see their record now at 8-1, which is impressive.
Sure.
But this is not the Ithaca team that had the nationwide win streak, for so long and everything.
And quarterbacks that were going to Power 5
yes,
schools.
Exactly. Mr. Football's here. Travis Smith was a few years back. But what does this Ithaca team look like as they get ready to head into the playoffs?
Well, I think it's an Ithaca team that's still a contender. They're not as stacked as they were in that run where they would have 4, 5, and 6 playmakers. Now they have 2, 3, and 4. They still have a pretty good quarterback. Brady Hesbrook is Terry's son. He's a junior. He can spin it pretty well, and he was the one who kind of took the game over on his back. He first play of the second half, he goes 83 yards for a touchdown, one of two second half touchdowns that he scored with his feet. They have playmakers, and they have this is an Ithaca team that still could go, 3-4 rounds deep, 4 or 5 rounds deep in the playoffs. It also, though, is not quite, like you mentioned, it's not quite that dominant Ithaca team of maybe 4 or 5 years ago, where they could go 4 or 5 rounds deep, or they could go 1 round deep like they did last year and be out. It's one of those where their margin for error is not quite as deep as it was, but it's still a team with a lot of talent.
Yep, I know. It is. So, all right, so we look forward to reading more about your summary of the game, and thank you for doing the Rival Series this year, Matt. You guys
so fascinating.
Yeah, you guys
so compelling.
You were all over the state, and I know you guys did a lot of traveling. You and Chuck.
But then he also did these deep dives in those
in
those look aheads.
Yes,
where he was going into history from the Herbert Hoover administration.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, we appreciate
the
what
stuff
you
that
do.
I love. The geek out stuff.
Yes, exactly. Just quickly, what are some of the things that people can look forward to? I don't think I pumped the website enough, statechampsnetwork.com. We were talking to Jeff Kimmerly earlier in the show and talking about, there just isn't the high school coverage, but we're covering it, and you're writing about it, and Scott's writing about it. So if you could kind of talk about the things that are happening at the website now that people can look forward to, and if you have a preview or a teaser of what we can look forward to coming up here over the next week.
Well, obviously, over the next week, next 2 or 3 days, everything's going to be focused on, what the playoffs look like. We'll have all of the updated who's in, who's out, probably tomorrow, and then we'll have the full playoff brackets once they come out Sunday night. And then we'll probably get together like we have in the past and do staff picks and kind of figure out, who we think might win. And those are always the fun things. They don't mean anything, as we all know, but they're fun to do because it kind of forces you to look at what the entire field has to offer. And they're also fun because, every once in a while you get a little bit of ribbing from somebody who you picked against when they actually are able to beat somebody.
Some people get really upset. And you're like, it's just all in good fun, man.
Yeah, I know. And it's usually somebody who just draws straws and picks, I like the mascot who ends up winning. No, but watch, Jenna will win the poll this year.
All right,
I've had coaches that come up to me and they're like really sore at me because I didn't pick them.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. And
funny story. Ben
ahead.
Brock, who's the coach at Shepherd now, I had never met him in person. I knew of him because he had been a player at Shepherd, but he was gone by the time I was covering things up in that area. And when we were conversing, setting up the coverage for this game, he said, "Hey, yeah, you remember when I was up in Grayling and you picked against me when my team came down and played Alma?" And I don't know if he actually remembers that, and quite honestly, I can't verify it, but it's probably true because, at a small paper, that's what you do. You pick the hometown teams.
Right.
And so we were just laughing about it. But those are the things that are fun, and sometimes people do remember them for decades. So it's fun. And then obviously as we roll into next week, we'll be, looking ahead toward Friday and toward the playoffs. And, Scott's always keeping us updated on who's signing where and who's going where. And
I got a cool little blog that Matt, I'm sure, will post early next week that I do. I do this theme called 5 for Fighting, where I kind of rank 5 things. So I did the recruits in the senior class for the football senior class in Michigan, the best value, the 5 guys that represent the best value at the next level.
And how good are you predicting that?
I think as a general rule, I've been good. I mean, I've had some misses over the years. My Alex Malzone has been one of my most infamous misses. But my Shane Morris was right on. I told everyone Tom Brady is not walking through that door. And he wasn't.
Right.
And then also big commitment right before this game in terms of a Power 5 school. Bryce Austin, the defensive lineman from Southwood A&T, committed to Purdue. So that will probably be in some type of recruiting notebook that we got coming out for you early next week.
All right, I know we've been super long tonight, but I will tell you, and I just kind of had the idea today, and I'm sure Matt will be along with it. I know Scott is. We want to do a playoff kind of just preview podcast that we'll do Monday. It'll be an audio-only thing where we'll just kind of talk about the reactions to the matchups we're seeing, and we'll kind of break it down a little bit by division, and we'll get into it. So we'll post that on probably late Monday afternoon, early Monday evening, and give you guys an opportunity to take that in if you feel that you would like to check that out. And so remember, also, State Champs High School Sports Show airs every Sunday at 9 a.m. on Fox Sports Detroit. It's our Halloween show this week, so you get a chance to see us at Rotten Manor in Holly.
We love dressing up here at State Champs.
We didn't dress up.
Oh, we didn't?
No, we just went to the haunted house, and Jenna got scared.
Yeah,
and
we liked scaring Jenna.
Yeah, it was, but it was a lot of fun. We got scared too. It was pretty terrifying, but also very fun, and it's a fantastic place. RottenManor.com is the website, so if you want to check it out, they're open this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. They're going to be open Halloween night. It's in Holly. Oh, cool. It's in the kind of just rural Holly area. It's right off Dixie Highway, and they'll be also open November 1st and November 2nd, so that weekend, so you still have lots of time to check it out. Again, if you take in both attractions, it's $40, but it's like an hour and a half. So, I mean, it's like a lot of scares. Otherwise, you can do for like $26.
You get your money's worth?
You get your money's worth. It's fantastic. And again, we'll have lots of videos we'll post all the way up to Halloween from our experience there. So that is that. The other thing I want to mention is, again, the Detroit Athletic Club's Athlete of the Year applications are in right now. So if you go to dacathleteoftheyear.com, here's your qualifications. You need to be a first-team All-Stater or projected to be one, so in the winter or the spring. You need to have at least a 3.0 GPA, and you need to have exhibited some kind of leadership within your school, in your community. There's so many people that are doing so many great things in their community and give of their time. Those are the ones we want to recognize, but you also need to be a top athlete. That's just kind of how it works for the male and female athlete of the year. So go to dacathleteoftheyear.com, fill out the application, and get yours in because it's amazing. You get $1,000 for a scholarship if you get nominated, $5,000 each to the winner.
You're in pretty prestigious company.
You're in great
a lot of
company.
guys that are, and young ladies and
Adrian Hutchinson, Cassius Winston
that have done some
winners.
Pretty amazing things.
Yes,
and I think the first one ever was Shane Battier.
Shane Battier was the first ever.
Went on to
Allison
win national
Schmidt,
championship
Olympic
at Duke.
swimmer,
NBA career, NBA championship.
Yep, absolutely. Rakia Jackson won last year. We expect her to be in the
Mississippi
WNBA
State,
before you know it. She's at Mississippi State. Yeah, huh?
Cassius Winston.
I say Cassius.
Best player in America right now.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so many great things, guys. We are so long tonight. We apologize for being such a long show, but we do have some comments of the week that are presented by the MHSA, and Jenna's going to give us those.
Yes, so from Facebook, Devin Backman, MAIC Whitmore Lake Trojans for the first time, champs, and being in the conference for the first year.
Good for them.
Dwayne Gordy, the Birmingham Groves versus Woodhaven matchup was a dandy. Woodhaven pulls the shocker 49-28. Downriver football is finally going to get some respect around the state.
I think it was 28-28, and then Woodhaven pulled away.
Second time in school history undefeated. For Woodhaven. Quarterback Josh Waters, 4 rushing TDs. Clarence Corbett had 2 TDs also. So Warriors rolling into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. And then Caleb Schaefer, Breckenridge gets it done against rivals St. Louis, 37-6. The team is the real deal, and they are back on the road to Ford Field, and they don't plan on slowing down.
Nice.
Charles W. Murphy, upset for the night. Midland Dow over Midland High, 42-7.
Yeah, and that
over
was
in Matt's neck of the woods.
That was originally going to be our rivals. Matt, still with us?
Yeah.
What do you think about
Jason
that?
Watson. Well, I mean, that was one where in last week's win over Mount Pleasant, a 1-point win, Dow regained control of their own destiny, and they were able to play their way into the playoffs tonight. I'm not sure if their starter was able to go. His starting quarterback left injured in last week's game, but they had I believe a sophomore in Caleb Studebaker come in and kind of fill in. So for them to roll up and that's not a bad Midland team. That's a team that we've had ranked in the top 25 all season long, that went to the semis last year and lost to Mona Shores. So for them to put a number up like that in the rivalry game, but that's the essence of those rivalry games, is that you get something like that where somebody's able to stop somebody else's unbeaten season and make their own season. So kudos to Jason Watkins and the Dow High Chargers tonight.
Yep, no doubt about it. So what did we close the week? We closed it with a piece
for
of Hungry Howie's Pizza.
For a half hour.
And we appreciate Hungry Howie's for sponsoring the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Of course, MHSA, we thank Jeff Kimmerly. We thank River Rouge Panthers head coach Corey Parker for joining us. Of course, Matt Mowry, who was at the Ithaca Shepherd game and calling in. And of course, Jenna. And, of course, Scott. Kevin T. on the wheels of steel today. We appreciate him. David Bodine ran the chat for us. We appreciate him. Everybody who commented, thank you so much. It's playout time, people. We will see you next week.